Nancy? What's going on?
Oh my God.
Steve, relax. She's driven before.
Yeah, in a parking lot. That counts.
Oh my God.
We're gonna leave you behind.
No.
But I promised you to be cool, okay?
Whoa, stop the car. Slow down.
I told you he'd freak out.
Stop the car.
Hey, Dingus, your children are here.
Again?
Psychology tells us that first impressions are nearly impossible to overwrite. It's called the Primacy Effect, the way our brains take a snapshot of a person in the first few seconds and store it as the truth. In 2016, our collective snapshot of Steve Harrington was this: a calculated, smug high school predator. He was the guy who broke Jonathan's camera. He was the guy who slinked through windows and spray-painted slut on a movie theater marquee. He was a textbook ADS antagonist, engineered by the Duffer Brothers to be the person you desperately wanted to see get eaten. But then, something broke. The writers looked at the Primacy Effect and decided to wage a war against it. They didn't just change Steve, they manipulated our own psychology to make us fall for the very person we were primed to despise. Today, we're diving into why the original Steve Harrington had to die metaphorically so that the Mom of the Year could live.
Hey, what's your problem, man?
You're both assholes. That's my problem.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
For about 8 episodes of the Duffer Brothers' initial run, Steve Harrington was someone very different. He wasn't a hero. He wasn't a protector. In the original script, Steve was a monster, and not the kind that comes from the upside down. He was a classic 80s trope, total jerk boyfriend who was never supposed to make it to season 2. In fact, he wasn't even supposed to survive the first. The plan was for Steve's journey to end at the buyer's house during the Demogorgon fight. But here's the kicker, he wasn't supposed to help. He was supposed to die as the sacrificial lamb to prove the stakes were real. The show's creators admitted that Steve was originally the biggest douchebag on the planet, and the plan was to have him exit the series with zero redemption. So why did they the script? Why is Steve still breathing? It comes down to Joe Keery. Television is a living organism, and sometimes an actor brings a humanity to a role that the writers didn't anticipate.
Maybe if we set this on fire,
Oh, yeah, that's a no.
The Mind Flayer would call away his army.
they'd all come to stop us.
Hey.
Then we circle back to the exit.
Guys.
By the time they realize we're gone.
Hell
Hey.
would be at the gate.
Hey! It's not happening. No. No buts. I promise I keep you shithead safe, and that's exactly what I plan on doing. We're staying here on the bench, and we're waiting for the starting team to do their job. Does everybody understand that?
This isn't a stupid sports game.
I said, does everybody understand that?
Once they cast Keery, the Duffers realized he was too charming to kill. To save him, they had to change him in 3 vital ways. By season 2, the producers faced a new hurdle. Steve had no tribe. He was a character in narrative exile, separated from the teenagers and the main conflict. This is where the Dustin Henderson factor comes in.
Now that you're out of high school, which means you're technically an adult, don't you think it's time you move on from primitive constructs such as popularity?
Primitive constructs?
Yeah.
That's some stupid shit you learned in camp. No, nothing.
Camp Nowhere, they know what shit I learned from life.
In what can only be described as the show's vulnerability pivot, the writers made a radical choice to stop treating Steve like a jock and start treating him like a mentor. By pairing the former king of Hawkins High with the nerdiest kid in middle school, the writers stripped away Steve's social armor.
You're just jealous because I have another older male friend.
Step back.
No.
No, seriously.
No! If you die, I die.
Steve isn't the predator anymore. He's the uncool big brother who actually cares. Dustin provides the plot relevance Steve lacked, and in return, Steve provides the muscle and protection Dustin desperately needed. It was a brief, almost accidental pairing that turned a jerk into a babysitter.
Babysitter. Always the goddamn babysitter.
Once we saw Steve through the eyes of a child who looked up to him, our psychological primacy effect was shattered. We stopped seeing the bully and started seeing the hero.
You got the job!
You got the job! Yay! Oh!
Finally, they achieved empathy through failure. In season 1, Steve is a winner in the most traditional sense. He has the popular girl, the respect of his peers, and a sense of invincibility. But the writers realized a fundamental truth about television. We don't fall in love with winners. We fall in love with people who struggle. To make us care about Steve long term, they had to systematically dismantle his life. Throughout seasons 2 and 3, Steve loses everything that once defined his ego. He loses his girlfriend. He loses his status as the alpha of Hawkins High, and eventually, he loses his dignity, ending up in a ridiculous sailor suit, serving 4-inch cones to middle schoolers. This victimization is a calculated narrative tool. It's hard to stay mad at the cool kid when he's the one getting humiliated on a daily basis. This physical and social dethroning makes us feel for him. By showing Steve's insecurities, like his genuine fear for the kid's safety,
What's wrong with you, Sinclair?
I'm sorry.
I could have taken you out with this land!
Wait, why are we talking about East Hawkins?
No. No. No.
or his awkwardness in trying to win over Robin, the audience subconsciously views him as a more grounded, likable presence. He is no longer the threat. He is the guy who gets beat up in every single season while trying to do the right thing. He's the punching bag of Hawkins, and there's something incredibly humanizing about watching a guy get knocked down 10 times and get back up for the 11th. Steve Harrington is proof that a character doesn't have to stay in the box they were built in. Sometimes the most interesting people are the ones who fail at being who they thought they were, only to find out they're much better at being someone else. Because here's the thing, Season 1 Steve was popular, but he was kind of a tool. The new Steve might be a loser in the eyes of Hawkins High, but he's become the backbone of a found family. He traded his crown for a nail bat and a group of children who probably cost him a fortune in therapy bills.
Whoa, hey, I don't think so. Any of you little shits die down here, I'm getting the blame. Got it, dipshit?
He found a best friend in a dorky kid with a hat and a platonic soulmate in a girl who works at a video store. So maybe stop trying to be the king. It took Steve a few seasons and a lot of bruises, but he's proof that the best way to be a success is to drop the act, pick up a bat, and yeah, get a little bit of Farrah Fawcett hairspray. He didn't just survive the upside down, he survived being a teenager, which is arguably much scarier. I'm not superstitious about his survival in the final season, but after everything he's been through, I am a little stitious. That's a wrap on today's look at the redemption of Steve Harrington. It's funny to think that if the Duffer Brothers had stuck to their original plan, we'd be missing out on one of the greatest character arcs in modern television, and we'd have a lot fewer mom jokes to go around. If you enjoyed this dive into the Upside Down, make sure to hit that like button down below. It helps the channel more than Steve's hairspray helps his volume. Also, hit subscribe and tap that little bell so you never miss an episode of our character breakdowns. On your screen right now are 2 more videos I think you'll love. One is on how Robert Pattinson destroyed his career to save it, and the other is a bit of a wild card. Click one of those to keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you're ever stuck in an interdimensional crisis, just find yourself a guy with a nail bat and a heart of gold. I'll see you guys in the next video.